How much time do you think people have to find that freedom? Like you said, the door's shutting. When do you think that is actually going to shut?
I think it's one of those things that happens subtly, day by day, and then all at once.
Yeah.
And so I don't know. I think there'll be another big event. Like I think we had the last event where a lot of stuff went gone. A lot of people got wrecked. And I think that'll happen again. When that happens, I don't know. I don't have a crystal ball. But I would definitely feel like there's a clock ticking, and I would feel a level of pressure that, like, listen, one day we're going to wake up and there's going to be central bank digital currencies. And, if you don't spend on stuff that's good for the environment, then, they'll make your money expire. Like these are all real things. We're moving that direction. You look in Asia, they have mass surveillance with AI.
Yeah.
Like all this AI stuff you're seeing now, it's so cool, and you better be learning how to use it. But at the same time, you better believe that it's being used against you. It's learning how to predict your decisions that you'll make. It's learning facial recognition. And all of this is real. So I think they're putting all the pieces in place, and then there'll be an event. And just like that, you'll be, likely living off the government, like by choice. Like
they were talking about it in Europe, I think, I forget where specifically, but it was like $2,000 a month. They're pushing out a universal basic income. Yeah. So it's like they're moving it in America in a lot of cities, like really small amounts, $500, $600. But like what I think is ultimately going to happen, I think there's going to be a big event. I fully agree with that. What I think is going to happen is inflation is going to continue to run rampant. I think it's going to get a hell of a lot worse as they contract fossil fuels. And as that's happening, everything's going to get more and more expensive, including prices on Amazon, including everything that you spend money on. And as that's happening, the middle class is going to slowly divide even more. And then it's just going to be the haves up top and then the 97% or the 99% below.
No, that's absolutely right. That's absolutely right. I think that's my favorite part with all of this. They will use energy. Like energy is kind of always the thing.
Yeah.
And all of their talk track would make total sense if there wasn't a phenomenal, like clear-cut source of clean green energy right in our face.
Yeah.
Nuclear works. Nuclear power submarines. Nuclear, like it just absolutely works. Way safer than dressed up to be. But nuclear energy doesn't come with communism. And so that's kind of why we're headed back towards burning wood. But anyways, that's a little side tangent of where I think the world's headed. Yeah.
So like for somebody right now that is looking at Amazon, what are some of the risks that they should be looking out for as well? Like the upside's there, but like what are some pitfalls that people usually get? They get smacked. They don't pay attention. They get hit with something, curveball, and
I think the biggest issue with Amazon is that people go on there without any game plan. Like people think that they'll order something from China, put it on Amazon, and they'll be making passive income. And the reality is, it's a real business. You have to come together with like it's that traffic conversion story. What's your brand story? How are you going to drive traffic? And then are you making sure your conversion's good? And no one answers those things. They're like, they think the hard part's making the product and listing it on there. And the truth is it's a much more complex algorithm that you need to feed it the right information. You need to get reviews. You need to, learn their advertising. There's a lot of things that go into that. And so I'd say very like broad level, people just don't appreciate how the game actually works.
Yeah. So when you kind of learned a lot, obviously, when you sold your business to what? Private equity?
Private equity, yeah.
For tens of millions?
Yep.
What was that sale process like?
It was horrible. It's this weird dance of like, you've got life-changing wealth on the other side of this. Like you're still making good money, but you go through this due diligence process, like any big purchasing, situation. And private equity comes in, they hire the best attorneys, they hire the best financial people, to like auditors to rip open your books. There's questions every week. So you're going through this whole thing, which is truly another job. Selling a business is another job while still trying to grow and keep the lights on and make sure the business is attractive as possible to them.
Yeah.
And so it's this dance for 6 months where you're working double time and, trying to get to this finish line. And in hindsight, I wouldn't trade it for anything because it's like the ultimate professional seasoning. It's like, I just went through an audit from a Big Four accounting firm. And, I've sat on 100 legal calls with, the top attorneys in the world. It cost me 6 figures. But when you're through that, you realize all that goes into something like that. And then on the other side of it, you start realizing how the world actually works in terms of like, well, those guys, by just buying my business and doing certain things, they just added another 30 million in enterprise value, and they bought my business with debt, right? And so you start appreciating like finance. and why these attorneys are paid so much and why these accounting people are paid so much. And then you zoom all the way out and you're like, oh yeah, like Amazon's not that much different. And like at the very highest level, finance is the language of the elites. Like finance is where real money's made.